No one can make me hate you, Connie Sufanusin foe. Except Mike Judge, but he technically is your creator, so. I love romance. I love watching two people fall in love with one another, learn more about each other, while also handling the challenges of life together. It's so cute. It's something we rarely get in media nowadays, and let's be honest, there are a lot, and I do mean a lot, of TV relationships that are very messed up and controversial. And after seeing so many bad ones, you kind of get tired of watching it. One show I would like to mention that left a permanent mark on me is How I Met Your Mother. Long story short, without any spoilers, I wish I could throw a shoe at Ted. That's it. If you watch the show, you will understand my anger, especially when it comes to the ending. 200 episodes and only one. Let me not spoil it. Just watch the show. Let me not spoil that. Anyway, back to King of the Hill. I love watching love bloom and grow. And Connie and Bobby's relationship is a perfect representation of this type of love. This young, familiar relationship that has no place but to go up. And we see this as clear as day in season 15 of King of the Hill. With that being said, I do recognize that these two are still in the honeymoon phase of their relationship, but I do feel that they will work out in the end. Both Connie and Bobby sort of need each other, and no, that's not me saying that their relationship will turn into a toxic codependency thing, kind of like Con and Min. Ugh. But rather, I do see Bobby and Connie both being at a mature level in their lives that they can handle practically anything that comes their way. Now, before I go on this long rant about the relationship, I want to talk about Connie a bit. I feel like we have to acknowledge the elephant in the room, and that was the hatred that Connie got last season. Now, I understand that people would feel angry at the fact that she tried to hook Bobby up with her roommate. I understand that part. But after that, I'm gonna be honest, I don't see anything wrong with Connie in season 14, but that one mistake. And she does apologize.
How did you know where I live? Guessed. Nailed it. I called Joseph. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. I didn't mean to ambush you by trying to set you up with Ola.
So the hatred for Connie, in my opinion, was kind of overblown. In fact, I even went to one of my friends to ask him why he hated Connie, because he also was part of this big wave of hatred towards Connie, and he explained to me why he believes Connie is a vile human being that doesn't deserve any form of happiness, especially with Bobby. And these are his words. He said, Connie being honest with Bobby was a form of manipulation. AKA, he thought Connie being honest with Bobby was her way of hurting and manipulating him, and that's why she is considered a piece of shit. He then would use Nikki from Obsession to explain this even further, explaining how Nikki was manipulative and abusive towards Bear because she knew that he had feelings for her and that she could do whatever she wanted to him because he had a soft spot for her. Completely ignoring the fact of the willow tree and everything, and the fact that money rained from the ceiling in Bear's friend's house. But Nikki did all that on her own free will. Let me just make it clear. Bear's the bad guy of Obsession, all right? He's 100% the bad guy. And there are arguments in life where I feel like it's not worth wasting your time, and this is one of them. So, back to Connie. When it comes to the case of Connie, I don't see her as a bad person, but rather someone who finally got freedom and just went berserk with it. Because if I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't see Connie willingly getting into a relationship with Chain unless it was pushed violently by her parents. And yeah, that is something we have seen before.
It was on a song.
You are much more beautiful than your picture led me to believe.
What picture?
I send him pictures, so what? Go have a great time.
So Connie acting the way that she did in season 14, being in an open relationship, makes sense to me. She wants to have some sort of control with something in her life, and she probably didn't want to waste her time trying to keep Chain from cheating on her, because let's be honest, Chain really didn't look like he cared for Connie until they broke up. And maybe Connie saw this and just thought, hey Chain, just do whatever you want, you know, we'll tell our parents that we're dating, but you can do whatever you want. And I feel like that was their relationship. We also have to acknowledge how horrible her parents are. They suck. I'm gonna be honest. Con and Min should have never had a child. And while I try to sympathize with them, I can't, because they're just horrible people. They are never happy, I've noticed. They are never happy unless other people are miserable. Even their own daughter, who they nicknamed Con Jr. because they wanted a boy. They can't even be nice for the sake of their own daughter. These two should have never been parents, especially Con. Con is way worse than Min, because Min feels like she does learn and change as the series progresses. Min actually enjoys the hills. She enjoys being around people. She enjoys doing stupid things. She enjoys being playful.
You got some good shit.
But then you look over to Con and it's like, oh my god, he's a horrible person. And many of the horrible actions that Con does throughout the series does affect his family. For example, when he got fired, he abandoned his family. And when Hank asks him to go back home, he basically tells Hank, they'll figure it out. Mind you, Connie was 10. And then another episode, because Connie didn't get accepted into summer program at a college, all of a sudden, Con goes off the chain. He's fishing, he's breaking into stores, he's fighting in like construction alleys. And it's like, poor Hank, he has to run over to Con and beat some sense into him because he's on the verge of losing his own house. And it's just a frustration.
Connie's a really smart Asian girl, but I've got a boatload of them, pardon the expression. She's not black, she's not Hispanic, or even white. And good Lord, give me a white kid from a public school with Connie's specs, and that kid could waltz in here.
Not to mention, he tried to bribe Bobby to break up with Connie. It's just, there's so many horrible things that Con has done that it makes me look at him and say that you are an awful father, and the fact that you consider yourself to be a good husband and dad makes me not like you even more. I'ma just say it. Con annoys me. All he ever does is just put Connie down. Nothing Connie ever did was good enough for Con. And it was such a frustration to watch because Connie is an amazing person. She is smart, she is kind, and for some odd reason, Con just constantly just wanted her to be something else that she wasn't. And it was frustrating. Even now in the newest season, Con knows nothing about his own daughter. He didn't even know what to buy her for her birthday.
Hey, Mr. S, let's try to calm down.
I can't calm down. I haven't even gotten Connie a gift yet.
That's okay, we got plenty of time. So what were you thinking of getting her?
Gift card?
Okay, a gift card to where?
I don't know. I suck. What did you get her?
Oh, well, I got her a nice simple necklace with her birthstone.
How do you not know what to get your daughter for her birthday? You raised her. You don't know what she likes, what TV shows she watches, her favorite color, maybe a favorite dish. He knew nothing. And it's just like, are you kidding me? But when you sit down and you realize Con being this awful person kind of explains why Connie is the way that she is. Connie has been on a leash her entire life. Basically, she couldn't do anything without her parents constantly losing their mind over the tiniest of things. A great example of this is the blues episode. Connie finds a love for the blues, and honestly, it's not really that big of a deal. But Con just turns it into this humongous problem, basically shaming his daughter for finding enjoyment in something else that isn't academic related. And it was always ridiculous how he just goes far and beyond to keep Connie on this leash. So Connie acting the way that she is as an adult makes sense. What a piece of crap. I'm sorry, Con annoys me, and I try to give Con some sort of sympathy as I rewatch King of the Hill, but let's be honest, this man is a horrible person. At least Min tries. And this is why when I look at Connie, I kind of feel bad because the hills were Connie's lifeboat in a sea of bullshit that Con threw her into. What do I mean by that? Connie wasn't allowed to be herself around her family. She had to be fake, or rather she had to be perfect. She couldn't do things without their approval. But with the hills, she can go into all types of things and not have to worry about her folks. For example, she wanted to do wrestling. Peggy helps her get into wrestling. She wanted to do blues music. Hank helps her get into blues music. And then you got Bobby, who is basically her lifeboat in this sea of bullshit. She could be herself around Bobby before, during, and after they were dating, which is another thing I want to talk about. Con tried to bribe Bobby to break up with his daughter. Do you realize how messed up that is? Bobby's not even a bad kid. Like, it upsets me. The point I'm trying to make is that Con's a horrible parent, and it's hard being around him. So when the Hills left, I can only imagine the emotional and possibly physical abuse that Connie and Min probably went with Con, because if I remember the banana episode correctly, Con, because he wasn't connecting with his roots or something, he has a mental breakdown and he decides to just go full on into his culture. And that wouldn't be bad, but like, why do you gotta remove the beds? It's funny, but at the same time, look, it's really hard. And I can only imagine the stress that Connie and Min went through when the Hills were away, because the Hills were also backup to these two women when it came to Con. And without this backup, it was probably hard to navigate life with Con's crazy emotions. Min and Con's divorce was, in my eyes, the biggest betrayal that they ever did to Connie. Con and Min are the number one people in Connie's life. They are the foundation of her existence. So to lie to her was a reality-shattering event for Connie. Let's sit down and talk about this for a second. These two did not tell their daughter about their failing marriage for 2 years. They did not tell her that they were split up for 2 years, nor did they explain to her that they were divorced for 2 years. Never told Connie not one thing for years, all because they didn't want to be ashamed of their own community.
Okay, we're divorced, but I still live in the garage.
I find that very sad.
And disgusting.
Cindy, maybe Jane shouldn't be dating a girl from a broken family whose father sleeps with leftover paint and silverfish.
They put their image above the feelings of their own daughter, their own flesh and blood, for 2 years. Not only is that a humiliating moment for Connie when she found out, a public embarrassment in front of her entire community, but more importantly, it caused Connie to look at her parents and see them for what they truly are. As well as everything she grew up to believe in, she saw all of it was now fake. All the years of working and sacrificing, experiences, relationships, going far and beyond academically, all of it was for nothing. Connie did it because she wanted her family to be happy, but they're not even together anymore. And worse, they didn't even tell her. This forces Connie to stare at the truth. Her parents are empty. There is nothing to them but just bitterness and misery. And we see this when she visits them on her birthday. The two of them can't be happy for a few minutes unless they're torturing somebody, aka Bobby Hill. We also have to look at her community. When word got out about the divorce, no one within her community at the Nine Rivers Club went to go check up on her. She was immediately shunned out because of the divorce. And this is sad. This is Connie's people. And no one walked over to check on her but Miss Peggy Hill. And it's a hard truth that she has to realize. Being socially shamed by her own community because she's a child of a divorced parents. At this very moment, she's vulnerable and hurt, and no one came to check on her from her own community. That is a hard reality, and it's one that she has to accept. And personally, I think this was the best thing to happen to Connie. No longer chained to the expectations of her family or her community, she's free to do whatever she wants. And we see this in season 15. Connie is more giddy, she's more playful, she's more out there. She helps Bobby with his shenanigans by using AI to help Hank get over being scammed by AI.
Yes! I knew my dad's instincts would kick back in. Thank you, Connie.
Now let's use AI to call my dad as Jackie Chan.
She sneaks through a window for cuddles. She kisses Bobby in front of her parents. Like, she's having a bit of a rebellion moment, and it's cute. And she's very encouraging of Bobby in his career, willing to let that nasty girl flirt with her man on TV, and she was willing to let it go. In fact, I need to add this last part. If I saw my man kiss another woman on TV, a shoe would have been thrown. Connie reacted more reasonable than I would, because a shoe would have been thrown. But that's what I'm saying. Connie is now free to do whatever she wants. And you know what? I love it, especially since she and Bobby are finally together. I can never hate Connie. Connie is a complex but down-to-earth character. I think what I love the most about her is she feels like a real person to me. An adult woman who had been tied down by her parents since birth, now finally getting freedom. Because, let's be honest, Connie constantly was trying to get her parents' approval literally since birth. And the sad thing about that is Connie never got this, because when she was born, her parents were already disappointed in her for not even being a boy. And you think that is something that would make her a bitter, angry person like her father, but no, Connie is still a loving, caring person who is now taking advantage of the freedom that she finally has now as an adult. And yes, it was a bit of a rocky start with the whole Polly thing and being a snob to Bobby at the start, but that doesn't change the caring, loving, humble, grounded, but creative young girl we met back in the early seasons of King of the Hill. She's still there. She's an adult. It was shaky, but she's still there, and we saw that side mostly in season 15. And I'm happy to say that we are now going to see the path that she's going to make for herself. And I'm also glad that Bobby's going to tag along for the ride. And this will be a fun next few seasons of King of the Hill. And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, I can't hate Connie, because Connie, she's beautiful.